Hi, Deborah. So based on your images here of how you were metering, I could tell you why your incident metering just wasn't as effective is because if these are really your meter use shots, you're not metering your subject. You're metering the parking lot. You're metering the light level of the parking lot. So what you would have wanted to do in this case, for instance, is go stand right up against the wall. Like put your camera on a tripod and have it facing, you know, your composition, and then stand right up against this wall and hold the meter in the shadows right here, right up against the subject, and face it back towards the camera. The Lumisphere would be facing right directly back towards the camera lens, and then also hold it here in the brightly lit area, and then face the Lumisphere directly back towards the camera. And then in both cases of metering, you would, of course, make note of your exposure settings, and then either find a compromise directly between the two, something between whatever you metered here and whatever you metered here, or decide if you wanted to expose prioritizing information in the highlights or expose prioritizing information in the details, and then shift your compromise toward one or the other. Does that make sense? Because just standing in the parking lot isn't going to help you meter your subject. And I'm okay with it if you tell me that this is not your meter use shot. This is just you standing in the parking lot showing us that you're using your meter. But what we actually want for all of the assignments are meter use shots. We want to see occasionally your meter in the scene. I want to know how you're using it. You can use your camera's timer to do that. Because using your meter in reflective mode is no different than using your camera in reflective mode. And you know, that works. Once you get a really good sense of what medium gray is, it works to do that. I mean, I can pretty effectively use my built-in camera meter even in the studio because I know what I can find in a scene that's medium gray, and I know to use a gray card if I don't have anything in the scene that's medium gray to meter. What the incident mode does is it eliminates your need for something that's medium gray. So here's your two finals anyways. Let's talk about these. That's not a final. Sorry, this one and this one. So both of these are definitely showing us the building in a clean and attractive way. This is compositionally problematic. This doesn't read well right here like that. You know, with the millimeter length lens. You're using a short focal length lens here, a wide angle lens, and FYI, telling us that you used an 18 to 105 millimeter lens isn't really what I'm talking about. I would like to know exactly what millimeter you're shooting at. That would be great. And but otherwise, this is really nice. And yeah, there's just absolutely no way you could have gotten these out of here except for through post-processing. So I get that. And then this, I think, is actually a very attractive image, too. I think that you found a nice compromise between highlight and shadow, and your exposure is still giving us this nice deep blue sky as well. Let's see if we can find more of that church front that don't have such a problematic compositional element. Well, you know, I tell you, this is actually a great composition. It would be better in more dramatic lighting and a side light, like the lecture describes. This whole row is actually rather nice. I'm a big fan of the big sky on this one, actually. I think this is really lovely. It feels real spiritual, you know. So I think you did a nice job going around your building. This is nice, too. It reads kind of strangely. We wouldn't be able to tell. We wouldn't get a sense of the building, but it's a nice, really nice composition. I think you did a good job going around the building and finding different angles of view that you found presented the building in an attractive way, for sure. And I don't see a whole lot of huge exposure problems on your contact sheet. I'm just imagining that you eliminated all of those. So I hope it makes sense what I've described about in incident metering methods. You know, I like to, regardless if I'm using incident or reflective, take several meter readings. If I was going to have to use my camera for this scene in reflective mode, I would have a hard time in spot. If I had my meter set to spot, I would have a hard time because this is not medium gray. And so I would get a very strange reading for this. And this is not medium gray either. It's a little bit lighter. Both of these are. And so there's nothing in this scene that's both in shadow and in light that's medium gray. So it would be really difficult. Now, if I set it to like a meter average, that would be a different story. But again, like that's not necessarily going to be an accurate reading. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. Okay, thank you for getting this in. You have some really beautiful compositions here.